And finally, as you all know, the North American Aerospace Defense Command, or NORAD, defends our North American airspace each and every day. However, on Christmas Eve, NORAD has one additional special mission, tracking Santa as he makes his way across the globe.
Judging from the outside, you might think this is just another mountain, but on the inside, 2,500 feet beneath the surface, you'll find the Cheyenne Mountain Complex, a product of Cold War paranoia and a fortress designed to withstand a nuclear blast. From the 1960s to the 2000s, Cheyenne Mountain was home to NORAD headquarters, a defense agreement between the United States and Canada to monitor and defend North American airspace and to keep a close eye on the Soviet Union. NORAD was created in 1958 when tensions between the US and the USSR were really starting to heat up. If the worst case scenario happened, meaning if the missiles started flying, the hope was Cheyenne Mountain would still be standing ready to coordinate America's defense. While new long-range bombers and ICBMs were being developed and stockpiled in the US and the USSR, NORAD's mission was to always be watching and always be ready to respond. If a Soviet bomber or missile was detected, the people working in Cheyenne Mountain had minutes, if not seconds, to verify the threat and alert decision makers. But for the last 70 years, all throughout the Cold War, and even until today, NORAD has carried out a completely different mission, but one they take just as seriously.
Tracking Santa as he makes his way across the globe.
It sounds pretty goofy, the idea of the military tracking Santa as he moves through our airspace on Christmas Eve, but this isn't a joke to them. It's a massive operation that takes months of planning, up to 1,500 volunteers, and an entire hangar filled with radar screens and phones ringing off the hook from thousands of callers all over the world wanting a real-time update on Santa's journey.
Santa on a test flight in preparation for his big journey on December 24th.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Lieutenant General Alain Parent, Deputy Commander NORAD. This will be a test flight for Santa Claus, call sign Big Red One.
Visibility for our satellites to detect Big Red One.
He is currently descending through 10,000 feet at a speed of 250 knots.
General, from our perspective, Santa is clear to travel through the designated airspace.
Well, he's just left the Maldives, and he looks like he's heading over India as we speak. This is part of NORAD's core mission, around the clock, protecting the skies over North America. But when it comes to Santa, we just want to make sure that his travels are safe and secure wherever he goes, that he doesn't run into trouble with the Grinch. We have infrared satellites in space. We also have radars, airborne radars. We have radars on ships, and we have land-based radars. We correlate all that information. Gives us a pretty good, accurate fix as to where Santa is.
And 1,500 miles away in Washington, it's tradition for the President and the First Lady to get in on the action and answer a few phone calls every Christmas Eve.
Are you still a believer in Santa? Because it's 7 it's marginal, right?
As well. Merry Christmas, and let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. I agree. Hey, by the way, where are you?
Okay, but we still haven't gotten to the point of the video. Why does the military track Santa, and why do they take it so seriously? I had to look into this because, to me, it just seems odd that NORAD, with its very serious mission and massive intelligence capability, spends so much time and energy tracking Santa. If you were to Google that question, what you would get is a super watered-down version of history. You would read that Sears ran an ad in the local newspaper in 1955 asking kids to call Santa at this phone number. And what you would read is that one kid misdialed the phone number and called this building, which used to be an Air Force office building, which is now a Spectrum office. And Air Force Colonel Harry Shoup answered the phone, and he was so touched by this kid wanting to talk to Santa that he just played along and pretended to be Santa, and the whole thing just snowballed from there. That story may be true, but it's not even half the story. To understand the full story of why NORAD started tracking Santa, we need to talk about what was going on in 1955 when that kid called this Air Force office asking to talk to Santa. For the US government during the Cold War, it wasn't just about winning the arms race. They were also fighting a tense battle for public perception. Today we're pretty accustomed to the idea of a military-industrial complex and defense budgets that only go up year after year. But in 1955, all of this was new, and it was happening for the first time.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
And Americans were getting skeptical over atomic weapons and secret military programs and the tens of billions of dollars being funneled into the Pentagon. The Pentagon had a massive public relations problem. On one hand, the Cold War was heating up, but on the other hand, it was a time of relative peace and prosperity in America. But the defense budget was only climbing every year, and the government was desperate to assure Americans that every dollar being spent on defense was worthwhile. So to solve this problem, the Pentagon recruited filmmakers and actors to produce movies emphasizing the Soviet threat and the need for a strong, well-funded military.
Duck and cover. Paul and Patty know this. No matter where they go or what they do, they always try to remember what to do if the atom bomb explodes right then. It's a bomb. Duck and cover.
These movies talked about how to tell if your neighbor is a communist, how to handle nuclear fallout, how to build a bomb shelter, and most importantly, how the government is keeping you safe through more defense spending. But all the movies they produced were filled with fear-mongering and images of America being nuked and reduced to ashes. Nobody watching these movies left feeling good about the future. So when Colonel Shoup got a phone call in 1955 from a kid wanting to talk to Santa, he saw an opportunity for a new kind of military public relations, one that was positive and would work well with kids and would make the military seem more personal and approachable. So Colonel Shoup teamed up with Colonel Barney Oldfield, a public affairs officer with the Air Force, to put out a press release saying, quote, Army, Navy, and Marine Air Forces will track and guard Santa and his sleigh on his trip to and from the U.S. against possible attack from those who do not believe in Christmas. He didn't intend for this to become an annual tradition, but it was such a hit with the public that when NORAD was created 3 years later in 1958, they doubled down on the whole thing with a national radio program giving updates throughout Christmas Eve on Santa's location and assuring the public that NORAD and the military as a whole were doing everything they could to make sure Santa had a safe journey.
Our radars on the northern slopes have just picked up an unknown object over the North Pole.
Hold it. I have an unknown contact, 35 degrees right, 40 miles.
Roger, Frosty Leader. That's your target. Proceed and identify.
Okay, Control. I have an identification. You won't believe this. It's you-know-who. A very fat man.
In 1981, they opened their first hotline where any American could call NORAD, talk to a member of the military, and get a real-time update on Santa's location. And the tradition has grown pretty much every year since they started. Since the launch of their interactive Santa Tracker website in 1997, they've received an average of 15 million unique visitors every Christmas Eve. Now, as you've probably figured out by now, the whole thing is essentially an elaborate ad designed to show off the capabilities of NORAD and why it's essential. But it also doubles as a readiness and training exercise because it brings people and assets from all sides of the operation, from satellite operators to radar technicians to pilots and even meteorologists, together to carry out a mock training mission that the public can watch and engage with in real time. And it's pretty cool to think the whole thing started completely by accident, thanks to Sears. If you're still here, I want to say thank you for watching. This is my 5th YouTube video. It's just me over here doing this. This took me about a month to make, so every like, comment, and subscribe goes a long way to helping me grow this channel. Got a couple more videos cooking right now, so I hope to see you for them. Thanks.